Have you ever felt like your life is stuck? Not because there's no way out, but because you're too afraid to take it. A young person sits in an office, repeating the same tasks every day, feeling like they're living a life they never truly chose. But the thought of quitting tightens their chest. A wave of emptiness washes over them, because they can't see a clear path forward. But in truth, there is a path. It's just not many dare to walk into the woods without knowing where it leads. We often prefer smooth roads, low risk, well-traveled, but for many, that feels like living inside a sealed box. Not suffocating all at once, but slowly losing direction each day. The real question isn't whether to quit or not. It's this: do I have the courage to face uncertainty and live true to myself? From a young age, most of us are taught to aim for specific things. High grades, top schools, big companies, stable incomes. But no one teaches us how to live once we've achieved all those things. Eventually, after checking off all society's boxes, young people start to ask, now what? What am I living for? And with these questions comes a conflict. On one hand, they want to walk away from their current job. On the other, they're terrified of having to ask and answer their own questions. There's no set formula, no one to take them by the hand. Everything feels uncertain, and so they stay, not because they want to, but because they don't know where else to go. When someone decides to quit, it doesn't mean they're weak, lazy, or impatient. Sometimes, it's the most honest thing they can do. They admit, this job no longer helps me grow. I'm stuck in a routine that doesn't feel like mine. I need time to step back and reflect. Quitting, if done with awareness and responsibility, is not an escape. It's an act of maturity. Escaping is quitting because you're tired. Maturity is knowing you need change, because you finally understand yourself. There's a familiar kind of energy, enduring, without ever questioning. Young people get caught in tiring cycles. They're not happy, but they keep going, because everyone else is doing it. Some convince themselves, just push through a few more years, it'll get better. Others believe, I'm not good enough to do anything else. But enduring isn't bravery. Over time, it only numbs you to your own truth. That's when you need to ask yourself, am I really living, or just existing? Work stress doesn't only come from KPIs, deadlines, or tough bosses. More deeply, it often comes from something invisible. A lack of direction, not knowing why you're doing what you're doing, not seeing any connection between your job and your values, not knowing who you are, where you're going, or what you're becoming. If these questions go unanswered, then no matter how high the salary or how great the environment, you'll still feel drained, because deep down, you're a person who's lost, and hasn't admitted it yet. One of society's big misconceptions is thinking young people are lazy, quick to give up, or lacking perseverance. But in truth, many young people are curious, eager to grow, and driven. They just haven't been placed in environments that help them thrive. Think about it. If someone who loves writing and creativity is stuck in a finance job, can they really be happy? The issue isn't the person. It's the mismatch between the human and the role. To feel fulfilled in the long term, we need three things: a sense of purpose in our work, a space to grow, a community that shares our values. If all three are missing, then quitting isn't irrational. It's survival instinct. Modern education emphasizes having a career, but rarely teaches us how to live with direction, manage personal energy, develop inner clarity, know when to say yes and no to a job. So when young people ask themselves, if not this job, then what? They feel lost, scared, unsure where to begin, not because they're incapable, but because the system never prepared them to live an autonomous life. Many people quit only to return to the same cycle in a different job. Many stay, but find ways to adjust their rhythm to feel less drained. The core issue is this: are you truly awake in your own life? Do you ever ask yourself, is this really worth it? Am I still growing? Am I living as myself? If you've never asked those questions, then quitting or staying is no different, because you're letting life carry you along, instead of taking the wheel. Not everyone needs to quit their job to find themselves. But everyone needs a pause, a real one. Maybe it's 3 days without social media. Maybe it's a quiet week at a place like Caroline Farm. Maybe it's just 30 minutes of meditation each morning. It's in those silences that you can finally hear the voice inside, the one that's been drowned out by emails, deadlines, and daily noise. You don't need all the answers today. You just need to start asking the right questions. There's no formula for when to quit, no advice that fits everyone. But you can reflect on what truly brings you joy. Write down the values that matter most to you. Simplify your life so you're less driven by money or praise. Gradually, a path will appear, not fully clear, but enough for you to take the first step. You don't need to know everything to begin again. You just need to know one thing. You deserve a life that's meaningful and true. Quitting your job isn't an ending. It's not a grand new beginning either. It's simply a quiet turning point. A moment to step back, look deeper into yourself, and begin to live the way you want, even if it's just one small step each day. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Each of us is on our own path, and no one can walk yours in a rush for you. I hope this video didn't give you fixed answers, but stirred up a few important questions. Because sometimes, a single honest question can bring you closer to who you really are. If you can, spend an afternoon sitting still. Turn off the noise around you, and gently ask yourself, is the life I'm living really a reflection of who I am? You may not have the answer today, but the moment you start asking, you're no longer standing still.